I was browsing the internet when a particular topic got my attention. A full year without purchases? That sounds crazy and interesting. So I did what any millennial would do. I surfed the internet for more information and immediately fell down a rabbit hole. The more I fell, the more appealing it became to me. Most minimalists get excited about three things: coffee, saving money, and challenges. And this challenge will make you save a lot of money. So I made sure to do all the research on the topic so you don't have to. And today I will guide you through every step of the process. What exactly is a no-buy-year challenge? Why should we do it? How to stay committed, the rules, and what to do if things go wrong. To avoid any temptations and setbacks, because they will happen, at the end of the video there's a free gift for you to be as successful as possible on this challenge. I've never done such a long challenge like this, but I am very excited to continue living a more frugal and meaningful life with more money in my pocket. So if that interests you too, let's jump right in. But first, I apologize for the nasal voice. I've been sick for the full week. So, what is the no-buy-year challenge? The no-buy-year was a social media trend that started in 2020 with the hashtag 2020 we have plenty. Later in 2022 with nothing new 22. I told you I did my research. So I am proposing a new hashtag, 2024 clutter no more. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments if you like it or have better ideas. The no-buy-year is a self-imposed break from, well, basically spending money. The goal is to not make non-essential or impulse purchases for a full year. This means you are still paying your bills and shopping for essentials like groceries. If a full year sounds like way too big of a commitment, you can also try a no-buy month or a low-buy year. Although I feel like you need to be a little bit careful about these two. Let me explain why. The no-buy month could be a good option for first-timers and for people who have a particular shopping addiction, because the time frame is shorter, therefore the success rate is higher. But what happens is people can not buy anything for a month, and once they hit the first of the next month, they splurge the money anyway. Also, there are, let's say, different levels of what a no-buy-year challenge can be. Some call no-buy-year for absolutely no purchases rather than pay your bills, food, and basic hygiene. Others say that the no-buy-year can also include some exceptions like eating out, as others also call it low-buy-year. But then again, if you make too many exceptions, it could also defeat the purpose. Why do a no-buy challenge? What is the purpose? There's a lot of different reasons to embark on a challenge like this. Whether it is to make smarter and more eco-friendly choices, to train yourself away from consumerist behaviors, to be more creative with what you already own, or the most common reason is to save money. There's a worldwide economical crisis right now, so a challenge like this might be particularly useful this year. Whether it is to be more financially independent, or to pay out some student or credit card debt, save for a particular investment, create better shopping habits, or to build your own finance safety net. How to stay committed for a full year. Everyone is different and every life has different requirements. Everyone can adjust the rules according to their goals and personalities. Keep in mind that challenges are called challenges for a reason, so the goal is to get out of your comfort zone, but without making exceptions for everything. Here are some tricks to help you succeed. First of all, be honest with yourself. This challenge only makes sense if you're honest with yourself and with your goals. Take a minute to think, where did you went overboard in the last years? What are your problem areas? Is it shopping for clothes, shoes, and bags? Takeaway coffee, eating out every day, books, plants, too much alcohol and partying? Whatever it is, physically write down on a piece of paper why you are doing this challenge. 2. Plan ahead. Make lists of the things you are allowed to buy. For survival, we need to consume, and at some point, you need to spend money. This part is important. Define your rules before you start the challenge. Think about what is essential and what is not. I have one thing to help you out on this important step, but more on that later. Track your earnings and spendings. I use a money app to control my spendings. Every time I receive money, make a purchase, or pay a bill, I add it to the app. This might be a tricky habit to stick, at least it took me a while, but it's a great way to track your finances, be responsible with your money, and be aware of your problem areas. I know some banks have this option online, so this feature might already be available to you. If you want to do it offline, just create a spreadsheet or write down on a piece of paper. 3. Eliminate temptations. I can't stress this enough. Unfollow accounts or influencers that are always selling you stuff, including the ones that you really like and the sustainable ones. Social media is now a marketing paradise for brands to spend millions to make you feel not good enough, so you buy stuff you don't really need to impress people you don't really like. Trust me, I used to work in advertisement. Also, avoid shopping centers or shops in general, including online. If you feel like this is getting hard, you can always download an app to control how much time you spend on your phone and even block apps. 4. Pay with cash. Since credit cards and contactless payments became a thing, we lost touch of the true value of money. What I mean by this is that it doesn't matter if you're spending €1 or 100, the body movements that you do are the same for both, and the brain kinda loses awareness of how much you are spending. So try paying with cash as much as possible for the next year. Counting 5 notes of €20 and seeing them leave your hands to pay for a new pair of boots will cost you a lot more than paying by card. Embrace that uncomfortable feeling to understand if that purchase is really necessary. 5. Keep busy. Building a habit takes time. The beginning will be harder, so it is important to keep a short list of activities to do to replace that shopping impulse. Here's a list of things to do instead. For example, if you feel like buying a book, go to a library instead. 6. Tell the people around you. This challenge is like a workout. You are training your impulse muscle and that takes time. Just like a workout, it gets a lot easier if you get a buddy or make someone accountable of your goals. Also, this makes people around you understand why you don't want to splurge money like before when you hang out. 7. Don't give up. If you make an impulse purchase, don't give up or start over. Write it down as an expense instead. Forgive yourself, but don't forget. Long-term commitments are hard. We're not perfect and setbacks will happen. We just have to learn to live with them and do better the next day. Remember that no matter what happens, this is not a competition and you should be proud of how you did. And now for the most researched topic, the rules. I actually don't like the word the rules that much. It's more like very important guidelines. Remember that these guidelines should be individual. Just make them clear at the beginning and stick to them. I'm going to share next my personal guidelines just to serve as an inspiration. First thing I suggest is to divide the list into forbidden, toned down, and exceptions. Let's start with the exceptions. First, you have the physical things you can buy, but only when you run out. And these are things like groceries, in my case, dog food and training snacks, toilet paper, drugs or meds, hygiene products, and here you should write down every item that you might need to replace. So for me is shampoo bar, soap bar, deodorant, floss, and makeup remover. I didn't include perfume because usually my dad gives me one for my birthday and one for Christmas, and this is more or less the time where I ran out of it. Otherwise, I would have included it. And beauty products. Again, write down every item. So for me would be tea tree oil, argan oil, face wash, and 3 makeup items. 1 brown eyeshadow, 1 eyebrow pencil, and 1 concealer. I am not a huge makeup consumer, and the rest of the products that I own are almost full, so I really doubt that I will be needing to replace them next year. Secondly, you have the non-physical essentials allowed. And these are things like paying your bills, like for example, rent, water, gas, electricity, and insurances. Then essential services like doctor, vet, dentist, therapist, and gym. I know some people don't consider gym as an essential service, but I do get that having this workout environment and doing classes is kind of essential to keeping you motivated, so I will keep this item on this list. Then this is a little bit of a personal one. I will make 2 exceptions for beauty services, for eyebrow and lip hair removal, because I'm just not good at doing it. And then I could also need some laser hair removal maintaining sessions because I just started the treatment last year. The last non-physical essential service for me is Spotify. I basically listen to Spotify every day, either working out, walking Fiona, listening to podcasts, or trying to fall asleep. So this is kind of like an essential tool for me, and in a way is more like an investment, because this way I am not listening to ads and I am not getting tempted by buying services that I don't need. And then you have the things you can replace, but only if they are damaged. And I will include shoes because I only have a few of them, underwear, socks, and some essential item around the house that broke. But I would advise to spend 1 week without it to see if you really need it. And if so, go ahead and buy it. And a bit of my personal exceptions. If I am traveling, I will allow myself to do a bit more of eating out, cultural and art events, and coffee or tea, but only in the places, not takeaway. Also, you are usually allowed to buy gifts, but for other people, not for yourself. Then we have the mid-level category, and I call this the toned down category. I would say that this one is the fully personalized one. So if you are doing a strict 100% no buy year, you have to skip this part. But since I'm making some exceptions for things that I consider essential, especially for well-being and self-development, I will allow myself once per week 1 eating out, whether it is lunch, dinner, or brunch, 1 coffee or tea at a cafe, and then again, this is to sit down and enjoy it with a book or with a friend or with a special loved one, and not to take it out and rush things. The rest of the time that I feel like I need to drink tea or coffee, I will do it myself at home. And then I will also allow myself 4 alcoholic drinks per month. So this basically is more or less 1 a week. But let's say if I have a special event or I don't know, something that comes up, I can allow myself to drink the 4 drinks in 1 evening, but then I would have to spend the rest of the month without drinking any alcohol. And I'm also allowing myself twice per month to go to some cultural or art events. Okay, and now the hard part for the forbidden ones. No impulse clothing or shoe shopping, secondhand included. Unless I move to a much colder country, I don't need more, I already have enough. Secondhand stores, and especially vintage, is where I basically fail the most, especially because I think, oh, it's sustainable, it's okay. But at the end of the day, it's still spending money, and if it's an impulse shopping, it is an impulse shopping. Next is jewelry. I'm happy with what I have. I am very minimal, and the jewelry that I own is very versatile, so I basically wear them every day for every occasion. No impulse makeup or cosmetics. Besides of the list that I already mentioned, I am not allowed to buy anything else. No manicure or nail polish. I don't do my nails at the hair salon, I don't paint them anymore, and I do my pedi at home, so this shouldn't be a problem for me. Haircuts and hair dye. I absolutely love color dye hair, and this one will definitely be a problem for me because the moment I typed it down, I immediately felt the urge to paint it red again. So yeah, this was definitely the hardest one to type down. Also, I want to start cutting my own hair. This is something that I want to do for a while now. So unless I fail miserably, I will allow myself 2 haircuts, 1 to fix what I've done and another to maintain it. No new home decor or knickknacks, no books or magazines. I have a pile of books waiting to be read and I keep buying new ones. If I somehow manage to read them all, I can always go to a library or do book swaps. No video streaming subscriptions. I've talked about binge watching in another video and I want to replace that habit with more reading. No takeaway coffee or tea, no tech or new games, no souvenirs, and finally, no new dog toys.
J'aimerais faire la tea. Ils sont là. Hola!
I feel that every time someone mentions that they're not buying their dogs or kids any new toys, there's always a bad reaction in the comments. But worry not, Fiona has enough toys, playdates, hikes and walks, which are much more important for them. So don't worry, she'll be fine. And that's it. If you made it this far with me, first of all, thank you. Secondly, I have a gift for you. I don't want to make this challenge alone, so I prepared a no-buy-year calendar for you too. I made a digital one and a PDF one for print, and I will share both of them down in the description. They are 100% free, although if you want to make a donation, of course I would be very happy. But I will be even happier if you share your journey under the hashtag 2024 Clutter No More, the same way I'm doing in my Instagram account, so we can make ourselves accountability buddies. I'm sure at some point I'm gonna feel tempted. When the time comes, I will also make a video about how I did on my No Buy Year challenge, and I will put it somewhere in this video. So, are you up for the challenge? Let me know down in the comments and we will embark on this No Buy Year journey together. If this video brought you any value, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content on minimalism and intentional living. Until next time, remember to stick out to yourself and to others, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!